Hey, aloha folks, and welcome to the Klipper Golf Course. Today I am with my very good friend, famous golf instructor, E.A. Tischler. Now, welcome, Ed.
Hey, thanks. It's always great to come back.
Yeah, so I know him as Ed because we go back to the early 90s when he first came over to Hawaii. He was with our good friend Ed Kageyama. The two of them had a golf school, and that's how I was introduced to Ed. And right away, I recognized that I was dealing with a brilliant mind. And so over the years, I picked his brain, texted him, ran into him, always asked him for some advice, and he's been very good about sharing his knowledge and his wisdom. But Ed, one thing that came up today, I was visiting with our former base commander, Colonel Dungan. He had some rotator cuff surgery on his left shoulder, and he said, "Oh, I'm so disappointed because they're not going to let me chip for a while." But I told him, "Hey, listen, I've got a friend, E.A. Tischler. He's a famous instructor. He's the coach for Scott McCarron, U.S. Senior Open champion." I said, this guy was advocating right-handed tossing, which is chipping and pitching with the right hand exclusively. And then I said, hey, and listen, I watched Tiger Woods on TV practicing putting with the right hand. So when I saw that you were coming out today, I thought this would be a great opportunity for you to explain to our family, what is this right-handed stuff all about? Could you tell us?
Yeah, and absolutely. That's a big myth in the game, that you should be using your lead side all the time. If you think about it, whatever your dominant side is, that's your smart hand. So if you're a right-sided golfer playing right-handed golf, your right side is your smart hand. Now think of like Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson is right-handed playing left-handed golf. So when he actually is using his lead arm in his golf swing, that's actually his intelligent arm. That's his dominant side. So that can work for him.
But is that why he does the hinge and hold? Does that have anything to do with that?
In reality, he doesn't hinge and hold. In reality, he hinges, he unhinges, and then he holds the through position is what he really does. But he grew up swinging at a mirror image in relation to his dad. His dad was right-handed, so he actually faced his dad and he swung, and he was swinging left-handed. He's ambidextrous, by the way, so a lot of times we see these things where people say they're left-handed or right-handed, but they're ambidextrous, so they can get away with things. And I'm ambidextrous, so I get it. There are things I can do with my lead arm in the golf swing very well, but there's a lot of things I need to do with my trail arm because I'm more right-handed than left-handed. Okay. And so that whole left-hand control thing actually came from when they switched from hickory shafts to steel shafts. Because in the old days, we were actually told with hickory, we had to roll our hands really hard. So it was called a rolling release. In reality,
Bobby Jones.
Yeah, exactly. In reality, you were rolling and releasing. Now, interesting enough, Bobby Jones, since you brought him up, he had the stiffest hickory shafts he could find. And in his writings, he actually says the right hand does not roll over the left hand until well after impact. So interesting that with very stiff hickory, he had to roll later than what was taught. So what happened is when they switched from hickory to steel, everybody was rolling and everybody started hooking it, right? Sam Snead was hooking it, right? Nelson was hooking it, Hogan was hooking it, they were all hooking it. So of course, they came up with their own ways of not hooking it. So Sam Snead coined the delayed release or the delayed hit where he held the angle longer. That was like Bobby Jones, don't roll it over until later, right? Okay. If we look at Byron Nelson, he actually tried to just keep the face square down the line longer. That was his way. And of course, Hogan found out his own way of supination and all that. And he kind of figured it out later than most. But in the PGA, the main thing that came about is he said, well, take the right hand out of it, because it was the right hand that was rolling. Instead of saying take the roll out of it, they said take the right hand out. And they started having people swing more lead arm.
Oh my goodness.
But if you've ever tried it, gone to the range and tried to play shots lead arm only, most people are just horrible at it. They just can't do it, okay? There are the few that can, like John Daly's really good at it, Morgan Pressel's really good at it, but across the board we find it just doesn't work. Right. So I literally recommend learning to hold the club in the trail hand. It's like a racket. Golf is the ultimate racket sport. And we want to think of swinging it more like we would a racket in a racket sport. And when you can stand up there and play one-handed shots only, you're going to find out that the game will get a lot better. As a matter of fact, after I moved here, a lot of people did that lead arm stuff and had really bad short games. And I would have them play, as you know, just right-hand only shots all the time.
Yep.
And they got to the point where they could play one-handed shots way better than two-handed shots because the left arm kept getting in the way in the two-handed shots.
Absolutely. I remember when we were at the Prince.
Yeah.
And there was Robert was over there.
That's
Robert
right.
Choi, remember?
That's right.
Before you took him under your wing, Robert was struggling.
Yeah. Shanks and chili dips.
Everything. And then I saw him on the driving range doing the tossing, and he was diligent every day. And after, I don't know, a month or so of that, I saw him hit a golf ball. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, what
I
a
was
difference.
so surprised. He
Yeah.
could actually swing well, hit a good quality golf shot.
Yep. Yeah, so and like I'm actually creating a new app I'm going to launch in May. And in there I'll have training protocols. And one of the training protocols is dominant side only, learning how to develop a dominant side only pattern. And so, you know, I'm sorry, what was the officer? What was...
Oh, Colonel Duncan.
Yeah, so Colonel Duncan, he said, he can actually go out and practice one-hand shots with his right side. You'll get a natural turn, a natural little pressure shift, a natural release.
Wow.
If you work on that dominant side only action. And just think of it like a racket sport, just like you're playing tennis golf, just clipping them out there. And when you do that, you're going to find out that you'll have more control of the club face, you'll control the bottom of the arc better, and you actually start playing more solid shots.
That is awesome. And tell us where we can get that app. Where do we
Yeah,
get it?
so my website's newhorizonsgolf.com. That actually can get you to a lot of different things that I've got a web store out there now. I have another website called makingyourgolfsimple.com, which has a ton of content. There's like 380 videos in there, so that's a member subscription site. And then this new New Horizons Golf app will launch probably actually in end of April, early May.
Nice.
And they'll have a lot more content in there as well.
Well, that's great. And thanks for sharing your knowledge, clearing up this right side dominant thing
Yeah,
for
use
us.
your smart arm.
Smart arm. I like that. Folks, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the Clipper. Aloha.